Power Rangers the Horror Show. Welcome back to Reamlore, and today we are looking at my favorite subject, Power Rangers. It's a fun, lighthearted superhero show with amazing action and intriguing storylines. It's drenched in the superhero genre, most of the time. For you see, there are some instances where Power Rangers delves into horror. It's hard to imagine Power Rangers delves into the same genre as Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger, but here we are. Today, I'm going over every horror-themed Power Ranger story, going in an order from least scary to most scary. So stay tuned for what is the scariest story in Power Rangers. Also note, I am not counting every Halloween episode because those don't always have horror present, weirdly enough. Just goofy episodes with a Halloween setting, no horror. I'm also breaking this up into two parts because Power Rangers delved into horror more than I initially thought. With all that said, my name is Rocko from Reamlore, and let's dive in. By the way, if you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe. We upload videos just like this one on our Reamlore channel. Subscribing is completely free and you can always change your mind. Make sure to hit that bell so you get notified when we upload. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, so if you subscribe, it would mean a lot to us. Mighty Morphing Trick or Treat. This one is the least scary episode, but it's a good episode. It's a Halloween episode with Kimberly and Skull competing on a Halloween game show to win a car, which is a total scam. If you can't pay the car's tax, they take it back. If you're wondering, yes, this was the debut of the infamous pumpkin rapper, aka the monster who just raps instead of speaking. The design is very cool, but the goofy voice and stupid raps just ruin it. Imagine him with a gravelly voice and being serious. He would be pretty scary. Still, the episode does have some elements of horror with a pumpkin-themed monster, much like the Headless Horseman, and the fact the Rangers almost suffocate, so there was enough here to put it on the list. Mighty Morphing Zeds Monster Mash. A pretty simple Halloween episode. Zed sends out a bunch of monsters, including the pumpkin rapper, to fight the Rangers. And that's pretty much it. It's a decent Halloween episode, but not that scary or memorable. I'm only mentioning it because it's the return of the pumpkin rapper. There's only one major thing to note about this episode. It doesn't feature Jason, Zach, or Trini. As a matter of fact, the previous episode, Opposites Attract, was the last time we saw those three in Mighty Morphing Power Rangers. It was the final episode they filmed before leaving the show. And it was the last time we saw Twee Trang in Power Rangers. This is also the episode that introduces the Peace Conference story beat and the characters wondering what would happen to the team if some of them were chosen. This episode is bizarre because of the acting from JDF, Amy, and David. They seem off, like they're faking their happiness, but how could they not be? Their friends have left the show probably out of nowhere and now they have to act like everything's normal. They must have been freaked out. I mean, maybe I'm just seeing things that aren't there, but to me, this is very awkward. Dino Supercharge, Wog World. I'll just rip the band-aid off straight away. Zombies and Dino Charge. There are these monsters who turn people into zombies by listening to this trumpet and the Rangers have to stop them. You've all seen a zombie show before, it's like those. It's a really good episode with tons of great moments that play into the finale of Dino Supercharge. But as far as horror goes, it's not that scary. I will give them credit, however, because they shot it differently like it was a horror show and the lighting made it very ominous. Plus, a zombie horde is always scary. Ninja Steel, Grave Robber. Halloween time for the Ninja Steel Rangers. They got this board game called Grave Robber, but as it turns out, this is a trap by Cosmo Royale, and the Halloween special for Galaxy Warriors. The Rangers are forced to play this cursed horror board game. Very nightmare-esque. Maybe this turns out with the Rangers dying in an endless cycle of reincarnation through board games. If you got that reference, we are now best friends. Anyways, the Rangers have to make it through the graveyard and defeat monsters from their past before the hourglass runs out or they will die. You roll and land on a grave with a defeated monster. If you beat them, you can roll again. What's cool about this episode is that it's a clip show, but not for Ranger clips, Sentai clips. More accurately, the fight scenes from the Sentai Ninja they didn't use in the season for one reason or another. It's actually a pretty genius way to use up footage. Of course, the Rangers win thanks to Levi's help, break the hourglass, and escape the game. It's a very good episode with tons of action and suspense, but it's not that scary beyond the haunted board game. Dino Charge, Ghostess with the Mostess. Dino Charge did a Halloween episode, but with a pretty cool concept. Chase, the Black Ranger, made everyone the same ghost costume when a monster impersonates one of them, but we don't know who. And now the Rangers have to figure out which one is the imposter. It's a pretty cool episode concept, reminiscent of John Carpenter's The Thing. Too bad it's just a way to have a clip show and not an actual episode. I could also do without the fart jokes. I still can't believe someone on the creative team thought those were a good fit for Power Rangers. But hey, it was a good Halloween episode, so I can't fault it too much. Mighty Morphing Life's a Masquerade. This was Power Rangers' first proper Halloween episode, as we see the Rangers gearing up for this costume party. When they get there, they have to deal with Frankensteins Monster. Okay, it's not actually Frankensteins Monster, but come on, look at him. He's the Frankenstein Monster. All these years later, and this is still nuts to me, the original Power Power Rangers fought Frankensteins Monster, and it somehow has some of the best fights of the whole season. In the original footage, it's also JDF in costume, so that's just very funny. It's not that scary, but seeing Frankenstein, one of the greatest horror movie monsters of all time in Power Rangers, gets it on this list. Turbo, the Robot Ranger. As per tradition in Turbo, this is crazy, because this episode starts off with the Yellow Ranger Ashley as a robot. Yes, the plot of this is the Rangers one by one are seemingly replaced by robot duplicates, as noted by Justin, the Blue Ranger, who is trying to expose them. It's a classic Body Snatchers type of setup, with Justin being unsure of who he can trust. Then we get a twist at the end. All of the Rangers, including Justin, were robots created by Zordon. The reason for this being they were testing the robots to see if they could handle real battles, so they can help in the fight on Eltar. This is just a theory of mine, but I think these Robot Rangers were created so we can have a full-on Turbo in-space team-up episode. The main Rangers being the in-space team and the robots being the Turbo Rangers. That didn't happen, but it was a fun, unsettling episode. However, this would have been a way cooler and scarier episode if this was Zeo, not Turbo. Because if you do the robot thing, you could say maybe the Machine Empire kidnapped and replaced the Rangers with robots. That would have added a hint of suspense, thinking that King Mondo was victorious in defeating the Rangers. Operation Overdrive, things not said. Operation Overdrive is pretty infamous among fans given the many problems with the show. The Rangers acting unlikable, the music not being great, and the fight scenes unwatchable because of all the Cal explosions. Or explosions behind the Rangers with slowdown and zoom-ins that are very obnoxious. Putting that to one side, however, this is one of the best episodes of the show, given the big twist we get that we've been teasing for many episodes. The Overdrive Red Ranger Mac is actually an android. As his dad Hartford explains, he always wanted a son, so he created Mac 2 years ago and gave him false memories. I think adoption would have been easier, Hartford, but I'm not an Indiana Jones-style genius. This, of course, rocks Mac's world. The episode itself is not that scary, just a decent episode of Overdrive, but this one scene puts it on the list. Mac's disconnected Ed being laid out on the table will never not be creepy. I also want to take this time to shout out David Weatherly, who played Spencer the butler, because he sadly did pass away. He was amazing as Spencer, not only being incredibly funny, getting the biggest laughs out of me, but also because of his performance as the lovable butler, who cares about the Rangers more than anything. David was absolutely the best part of Overdrive. Rest in peace. Lightspeed Rescue, truth discovered. So demons are a thing in Power Rangers. No child filter there, just straight up demons. For this episode, we learned that Captain Mitchell, mentor of the Lightspeed Rangers, was involved in a car crash. He protected his kids, but Ryan, his son, was about to fall off a cliff. That's when the demon Diabolico appeared with a deal. He'll save Ryan, but Diabolico will take him away until his 20th birthday. Mitchell had no choice but to accept, and you know what happens when you deal with the devil. Diabolico raised Ryan to fight the Rangers and told him his father didn't even try to save him. Ryan took the titanium morpher and fought the Rangers, but in the end, Mitchell makes Ryan remember what really happened, and Ryan joins the team. That opening scene alone gets this on the list. It's surprisingly dark for Power Rangers, having a car crash scene followed by a deal with the devil. I know Diabolico's not actually the devil, but he's operating in the same way. It's a great episode, I highly recommend. In Space, A Line in the Sand. In this episode, In Space goes full Christine. By that, I mean a tank car with scary red lights starts hunting down the Rangers, trying to literally run them over. And by that I mean teleport them to a desert to kill them. Even though it's a harmless teleport, it pretty much is them getting run over by a psycho car. Turns out this was a monster working for Astronema called Frankenstein, who is one of the strongest monsters in Power Ranger history. I mean it, the Rangers had to sacrifice their Mega Voyager, the same one that went head to head with the Psycho Rangers. It's still a bone-chilling episode of In Space I highly recommend. Samurai, Broken Dreams. Yeah, so Power Rangers did the deal with the devil thing twice. The main story for this episode is after Dayu ran away from Master Xandrid and the Nylok, she and the Pink Ranger Mia get put to sleep by a monster, who sends them into a dream world. While the bulk of the episode is about stopping a monster from eating people, the side plot is where the horror comes in. Because Mia is right next to Dayu, she sees her dream. And this is when we learn the truth about her and Decker. They weren't always Nylok, they were once a normal, happy couple. Dayu giving Decker his sword Urumasa, and Decker giving Dayu her harmonium. Things went tragic, however, because the night after they got married, their house burned down while they were still inside. Decker was on the verge of death, which is when Serrator appeared with an offer. He will save Decker's life, but Dayu has to give up her humanity and live as a Nylok. Dayu decides to sacrifice everything to save Decker, but you really shouldn't make a deal with the devil. Serrator does save him, but Decker will now live as a half Nylok for eternity, longing for battle like a monster, with no memory of Dayu. And Dayu has to suffer, knowing she turned the love of her life into a monster. Monster. This was shockingly dark and scary for samurai, which was aiming for a younger demographic, essentially selling your souls to the devil. And this was not a ripped-off plotline from the Sentai like most things in samurai. I have seen every episode of Shinkenger, and I'm making it very clear this was a samurai thing. They did something original and cool, making me wish there was more of this in samurai. You could argue that this backstory as well as Lauren were the best parts of the show. I recommend this episode, it's well worth your time. Mighty Morphing, no clowning around. This one is super special because it was the very first time Power Rangers delved into the horror genre with a monster known as Pineapple the Clown. Vinster created a monster that was disguised as an innocent clown to destroy the Rangers when they visit the fair, and Pineapple demonstrates that by leading Trini's kid cousin Sylvia away, and that is disturbing by itself. And then Pineapple turns Sylvia into cardboard. Now by itself it's very cartoony, but the fact he did that in front of Trini makes it sick. The only reason Pineapple did this was because he wanted Trini to be devastated. That is pure evil. Pineapple, played by Vernon Buestros, makes this episode an all-time classic. He is delightfully evil and monstrous, with his expressions made even better by his face paint. His monster form is also great, a cross between a pineapple and plant with no recognizable human features. I wish they brought this guy back for a few more episodes. The tone of the episode is also very creepy, with the huge crowd causing panic, and even the music is darker than normal. This isn't the scariest episode of Power Rangers, but I think it well earns the title of the scariest episode of the original Mighty Morphing. And that's where we're stopping for today. We'll finish taking a look at horror in Power Rangers next time. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all later.